My grandchild, there's no one like you. It's time, Mama? Belle asked. We're all packed and ready. Her brother Bert jumped up and down. We're going to stay at Grandma's. Mama Bear checked her watch. Okay, it's time to go. That's all the cubs needed to hear. They grabbed their bags and ran to the car singing, Hey ho, hi ho, to Grandma's house we go. There was nothing like a trip to Grandbear's. Belle and Bert burst through the front door of Grandma and Grandpa Bear's den. We're here, they shouted, and everybody hugged. Oh, look how happy they are. After a while, Mama Bear showed Grandma a list. Here's what time the cubs go down for their nap. Here are my phone numbers. Here is the doctor's phone number in case of emergency, and Grandma placed her paw on Mama's arm. Oh, we'll be fine, she assured Mama. You just go and enjoy yourself. And with that, Mama Bear was gone. Look, they're baking just like we do. Now we can party, Grandma declared. And what do we always do first? Cookies, the cub cheered. And they all headed to the kitchen. Grandma had the almond butter cookie dough all ready to go. Belle got out the cookie cutters with Bert, helped himself to some dough. No one makes cookies like Grandma's cookies, Bert said between licks. Let's see. As the next batch of cookies baked, Grandpa came into the kitchen and sneaked a few off the cooling rack. That sounds just like Papa. Bert started to grab some too, but he stopped in his tracks. Grandpa, Bert said, why are you wearing your lucky fishing cap? Grandpa grinned. Then he roared, because we're going fishing! Bert clapped his paws. There's nothing like fishing in the lake, he said. The next thing Grandpa knew, he got 2 huge bear hugs from Belle and Bert, and off they went. Woohoo! Oh my, look at that. It wasn't long before Belle and Bert brought their fish to show Grandma. They were very proud, but Grandma had something to show Belle and Bert too. What could that be? Grandma had gathered together some old dusty hat boxes and a big trunk of funny clothes. In no time at all, Belle and Bert were dressed up in the old clothing. They put on a very fancy fashion show for their grandbears. Do you know what that outfit needs, Belle? Grandma said. She took off her most special pin, the one she always wore, and pinned it on Belle. There, now you just look like a princess. Thank you, Grandma. There's nothing like your jewelry. Oh my, fancy. Oh my goodness, Grandma said. According to Mama's list, we were supposed to have lunch 2 hours ago. We must have been having too much fun. Come on. They hurried to the kitchen table where a delicious lunch awaited them. Bert and Belle picked up their forks and were just about to dive into their green bean and honey casserole when Grandma shouted, Wait! At Grandma's house, dessert is first! Bert and Belle laughed. Oh my. They turned to their dessert plates and dove into Grandma's award-winning berry, and banana pie. Oh, Grandma, they said, their mouths full of berries. There's nothing like your pie. Oh, look. Now that looks like something we do, jumping on the bed. Lunch was very tasty. Afterward, Grandpa patted his belly and headed off to nap on the sofa. That does sound like Papa. Grandma said, looking at Mama's list. According to this, it's nap time for you two. Grandma let the cubs crawl into her bed, which was squishier than any bed they had ever slept in. You know what I think, Grandma said? I think I'd like to see which one of you can jump higher than I can. And they all jumped and jumped until they were very tired. There, Grandma said, after that we all need a nap. No one does nap time quite like you, Grandma, Belle said. And Bert stifled a yawn and nodded. And there the 3 bears curled up and took a nap together. Oh my, what is going on there? After nap time, Belle and Bert followed Grandma outside. They loved to help in her garden. Belle found the most beautiful rose. Look at this, and look at this, Bert shouted. He held out the slimiest snail. Well, Grandma said very quietly, look at that. Way up in the tree was a bright red cardinal, watching over a nest of eggs. Bert and Belle had never seen such a thing. Bella sighed. There's nothing like your garden, Grandma. The day went by too quickly. The cubs were having so much fun. When they saw Grandma peering through her reading glasses at the list, they got a little worried, but not for long. I'm following Mama's instructions, Grandma said, and we've covered almost everything. It says here that it's bedtime now, she winked. But I think you need to stay up just a little longer. Let's make popcorn and watch cartoons. Belle and Bert helped Grandpa pop corn in a great big pan on the stove. That's how we used to do it, not the microwave. Only Grandpa makes popcorn in a pan on the stove, and the Grand Cubs agreed there was nothing like that special popcorn. Aw, look at that. Sweet Papa hugs. What's next? Finally, Belle and Bert could hardly keep their eyes open. Grandma read them a story and said a special prayer with them. Keep getting notifications. Then she carried them off to bed and thanked them for such a fun day. My sweet Grand Cub, she said, there's no one like you. Aw, that is so very true. The years passed and the cubs grew up. They never forgot their times with Grandma. They always remembered Grandma's special gifts, delicious food, and fun times. But they knew that the greatest and best thing Grandma gave them was love. And I hope that that is what you always remember, Edward James. Because me and Pap love you very, very much. And we miss you terrible.